How do you engage 7th through 12th graders with watershed conservation? Immerse them in the water resource. The Watershed Field Experience introduces students in 7th through 12th grade, that's 13 to 18-year-olds, from schools within the Whitewater and Root River watersheds of southeast Minnesota to watershed conservation concepts by literally immersing them in the water resources, both above ground and below ground, so they can discover for themselves the impacts of land use practices on our surface and groundwater. Are you confused? Let me break it down for you. During their 2-day field experience, students rotate through various monitoring and surveying stations at various locations along the Whitewater and Root Rivers. They become integral in data collection that will later be used to assess stream health and watershed health. It goes something like this. Day 1. School number 1 arrives at Whitewater State Park at 9:30 a.m. Students are issued blaze orange safety work vests for the day. Then students participate in an interactive overview of the Whitewater River using a Google Earth flyover to allow students to estimate percent of land in perennial cover, percentage of land in agricultural use, and percentage of land in natural vegetation. A quick preview of the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources Watershed Health Assessment Framework is shared in order to explore features about this watershed, especially health scores related to perennial cover and connectivity, and also to touch on land use practices that impact these health scores, such as impervious surfaces, feedlots, culverts, etc. Once the kids have a better understanding of the land use practices impacting this specific watershed, they head outdoors and are split into 4 teams that will work together throughout the 2-day field experience to gather data and observations. Students then visit 4 different locations, each on a different branch of the Whitewater River. At each stop, groups rotate to a new monitoring activity, so that by day's end, they have experienced all 4 stations. These include invertebrate sampling, while also noting native mussels observed and any aquatic invasive species observed. Water chemistry is analyzed at each stop, looking at turbidity, temperature, nitrates, dissolved oxygen, and other indicators of stream health. The stream bank and riparian vegetation are surveyed at each stop as well. The final monitoring station is a photo documenting activity. Students are geared up with a GoPro camera and waterproof digital cameras and are assigned to follow the other 3 groups to record their procedures and the plants, animals, and stream conditions observed. Lunch is eaten on the bus en route to the monitoring stops, and by 1:30 p.m., the first field day wraps up with a quick discussion on the day's findings and a segue into field day number 2. The second day is held at Forestville Mystery Cave State Park. Day 2 begins again at 9:30 a.m. with the tour of Mystery Cave, stressing the movement of water through the ground and the changes wrought to the cave from flooding related to land use. Water samples from Turquoise Lake and Frozen Falls are analyzed to assess clarity and nitrate levels. Then the kids head back above ground to monitor the south branch of the Root River near the cave entrance, looking specifically at water chemistry and invertebrate and minnow species in the warm water section of the stream. Then there's a quick stop at the Disappearing River, which is a real eye-opener for most of the students. After that, it's lunch on the bus while heading over to Forestville State Park to sample water chemistry and invertebrates and minnow species on the cold water section of the south branch of the Root River after it has resurfaced from Mystery Cave through a series of cold water springs. On the way out of the park, the group stops to visit the Fountain Sinkhole to get a better understanding of karst and what it looks like at the bottom of all those islands of trees in the farm fields of southeast Minnesota. The last stop is at the big spring that is the town of Fountain's namesake. Another quick wrap-up in the field, and the kids are back on the bus by 1:30 p.m. A post-activity is later sent to the teachers after their visit, which includes a survey for the teacher to conduct with the class. As part of this post-activity, participating schools are challenged to continue their exploration of watershed conservation by adopting a watershed-themed project in their own community. The various partnering agencies on this project hope to offer an annual symposium in coming years, where participating schools will present the findings of the community-based watershed projects and compete for the Richard J. Dorr Watershed Conservation Award.
I don't know whether you've ever been to Whitewater State Park, but during the tourist season, Whitewater State Park is literally jammed with visitors from all over the world. The other state lands that approximate about 23,000 acres, they are utilized extensively by thousands of sportsmen during the hunting and fishing season. Now, this multiple-purpose project is paying off in a big way. But there's one thing we have to remember. In the course of a half-century, prosperity walked out of that valley and it returned. The question is, can it remain? Yes, it can, and it can flourish if the people will continue to work with nature rather than against her through doing everything possible to conserve the soils, the waters, the woods, and the wildlife.
What are teachers and students who help pilot this program saying about their experience? See for yourself.